The new year brings new promises and hope, and the first month of the year has given us enough to believe that. So, counting down on the top 5 positive news stories for the first month of the year. Here are the 5 positive news stories of January 2021. Before we begin, please show us some love by liking our video, subscribing to our channel, and hitting the bell icon to receive notifications for upcoming positive listicle videos. Number 5. Saudi Arabia is building a zero carbon city with no cars or pollution. Saudi Arabia is delivering to the world a worthwhile example of future living as it's announced plans to build a revolutionary zero carbon, zero traffic city for over 1 million people spanning 105 miles and featuring futuristic technology. The Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman said in an announcement that the city, called the Line for its long, thin shape and route along the coastline, will preserve 95% of the natural environment in and around which it's built and will be an economic engine for the kingdom. Construction for the city is set to start this month. Eventually, it's planned that a 105-mile network of AI-operated automated transport will carry a future population through 4 distinct districts on the northwestern corner of the kingdom on the coast of the Red Sea. This technological wonderland will have no cars, no streets and no pollution, and where sun and wind will generate almost all of the electricity. Walkability will define life on the line, with planners allegedly working to ensure that education, transportation and medical facilities, shopping and leisure locations as well as green areas are all between 5 and 15 minutes by foot from any point in the line's communities. Number 4. Hero Plumber has helped 10,000 vulnerable families fix heating and plumbing for free during pandemic. A kind-hearted plumber has spent £57,000 during the pandemic helping thousands of vulnerable families fix their heating and plumbing for free. In 2017, James Anderson was called to a home for a second opinion and caught a heating company who'd attempted to con an elderly and disabled man out of £5,500. Disgusted and disheartened by this, he founded Defer and has since helped more than 10,000 families. The 53-year-old pledged to help disabled and elderly people with their plumbing and heating, whatever the cost. But he has since branched out during the pandemic to provide food parcels, PPE, and even paying bills for people. A father of 6 children, Anderson says he spent £57,000 during the pandemic alone, but added that it was worth every penny if it kept people alive and warm. In fact, between Christmas Day and New Year alone, he and a local team of 3 volunteers, 3 apprentices, and 4 engineers took on 93 jobs for free. James currently works with plumbers based in Lancashire, Manchester, Leeds, Nottingham, and parts of Scotland, and hopes to eventually cover the whole of the UK and has a GoFundMe page to accept donations. You can donate on the GoFundMe page to assist James in helping households through the cold winter months. Number 3. Dominican Republic approved bill to end child marriage. Child marriage was legal in the Dominican Republic until 2020, which may come as a surprise to us. Indeed, the Caribbean nation has the highest rate of child marriage in Latin America, but not perhaps for much longer. On 6th January, the country's president Luis Abinader approved a bill that eliminates all legal grounds for child marriage and safeguards the rights of children, particularly girls. The International Justice Ministry and NGOs said that the new law stipulates that people under 18 years old will not be able to marry under any circumstances. Previously, children could be forced into marriage as long as there was parental consent and permission from a judge. Number 2. A kind doctor forgave $650,000 in medical bills for cancer patients to kick off 2021. If a cancer diagnosis is a patient's worst nightmare, not being able to afford life-saving treatment runs it a close second. One oncologist recently forgave all his patients' outstanding debts, easing his patients' pain a bit to kick off 2021. Dr. Omar Atik founded the Arkansas Cancer Clinic in 1991. Over the years, countless patients received everything from diagnostics to radiation and chemotherapy at the Pine Bluff facility. In February of 2020, the clinic closed due to staffing shortages. At the time, there was close to $650,000 outstanding patient debt on the books. Dr. Atik attributed the large sum to the fact that no patient was ever denied treatment, regardless of whether or not they could pay. After the clinic closed last year, Dr. Atik attempted to settle the debts. He soon realized that many of the folks he treated didn't have the means to pay, especially with so much added financial hardship brought on by the coronavirus pandemic. So with the blessing of his wife Mehreen, he simply elected to stop asking. And to bring in 2021, Dr. Atik sent out cards to nearly 200 of his former patients that read, "The Arkansas Cancer Clinic was proud to have you as a patient." Although various health insurances pay most of the bills for the majority of patients, even the deductibles and co-pays can be burdensome. The clinic has decided to forego all balances owed to the clinic by its patients. Even though he is no longer treating his patients, Dr. Atik found one final way to practice some kindness and compassion on their behalf. Number 1. Lone Capitol police officer lured rioters away from Senate chambers. The hero likely saved lives. A US Capitol police officer is being hailed as a hero for cleverly steering a mob away from the Senate chambers during the riots on 6th January. Footage shows Officer Eugene Goodman all alone and just a few steps ahead of rioters. They are waving Confederate flags and shouting at him as they chase him up a flight of stairs inside the Capitol building. Goodman can be seen covertly looking at the entrance of the Senate just a few feet away, then he lures the intimidating rioters in the opposite direction, risking his life. In the video from HuffPost Igor Bobik, which you can watch here, Goodman can be heard shouting "second floor" into his radio, alerting other officers that rioters are approaching the chamber area and the people who are in there. Just minutes later, authorities managed to seal off the chamber, keeping the people hiding inside safe. Goodman, a veteran of the US Army who served in Iraq, is being praised for his bravery and decisive action in what must have been a harrowing situation. A legislation was introduced to Congress to bestow Goodman with a Congressional Gold Medal for his brave efforts, and he also got a promotion for the presidential swearing-in. He escorted Vice President Kamala Harris to the inauguration venue at a swearing-in ceremony. He was seen alongside Harris as she arrived at the Capitol to take her oath and leading her to the presidential platform before the swearing-in ceremony began. Multiply the positivity by sharing these sweet stories with your friends on social media. Like, subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications for upcoming positive listicle videos.